right, welcome to Twin Tarot. I'm David.
I'm Gary.
And today we're going to talk about...
former President Trump and his current VP, JD Vance.
I'm going to get that tail.
No, you leave that tail alone. I can't get it. It's out of your frame. So, there's been some questions in the comments and some speculation that Trump may want to dump JD Vance. JD Vance.
Why? Why? He's perfect. He's the best choice ever. I saw a comment. It's like he's like the Sarah Palin of Dan Quayle's or something.
Woo! Ouch. God, put some calamine lotion on that burn.
Oh, that's brutal. I mean, it was just like, oh man,
that's just cold.
Now, mind you, this is coming from two people who voted for the Bush Quayle ticket back in the day, and we knew it's like, yeah, Dan, compared to Lloyd Benson, Dan Quayle was just like this.
Sarah Palin was the reason why that was the first presidential election I ever voted for the Democratic candidate. Because I was okay with McCain, but Sarah Palin and the Tea Party were just a bridge too far. They finally found my Overton window and exceeded it.
Yeah, and with Sarah Palin, you had like about 2 days of, okay, yeah, maybe this is going to be all right, and then it's like, then she said stupid stuff like foreign policy. Yeah, I can see Russia right out my back window.
Oh, for me, it was just the fact that she was the face of the Tea Party. The Republican Party be getting further to my right over the past couple of elections, and that the Tea Party was just finally, it's like, okay, I just can't.
I was never a big fan of the Tea Party and all their little protests. I didn't know she was the face of it. That's
why they made her vice president candidate, because she was going to be able to pull the Tea Party into it.
Yeah,
so Colin Sullivan
before Lauren Boebert.
Oh God! So when I was doing a little bit of research prior to shooting the video, apparently JD Vance is the lowest polling VP since 1980, and I don't know if they did polls of VPs prior to 1980, but he's just this liability that Trump has selected.
Was that was Mondale? Was Mondale Carter's VP? I don't remember who Carter's VP was.
It might have been.
I can't imagine George W. George H.W. was the lowest.
We could pause and find out.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not that interested. We'll just get eviscerated in the comments for not knowing it.
Well,
we're being 15 years old at the time that election was happening.
We should at least know, right?
Oh, jeez.
I'll look it up real quick.
Anyway. Yeah. Well, it's like because you had Mondale Ferraro and then
Walter Mondale.
Yeah, it was okay.
So there you go. So anyways, JD Vance is not appearing to be the great asset to the ticket that Trump and or the Heritage Foundation was looking for. So
well, I'm sure the Heritage Foundation thinks he's the greatest thing for the Heritage Foundation, but
yeah, clearly.
Let's face it. At the end of the day,
yes.
Honestly, really, at the end of the day, who's voting for Trump? Trump could have Jesus Christ as his running mate, and it's probably not going to change the independent voters, the women voters, or the young people's vote, right?
Well, no, Jesus Christ would be a hell of a running mate, but
those are the only ones in flux.
How about this? He could have Ronald Reagan as his running mate, and it's not going to change, as revered as Reagan is in the Republican circles. Yeah, it's just, it's because it's like we said in earlier videos, it's not so much the candidate, it's the platform you're voting for.
Yeah.
It's do you want democracy? Would you like your little vote to count in the future elections, or are you good with an autocracy and authoritarianism?
Yes. And again, if you're voting for Trump, you're voting for Trump. You don't care who his vice president is. So to me, the whole JD Vance thing is he could have a bag of carrots. 2-pound bag of carrots as his running mate. People would be thrilled to death. If anything, the carrots would weigh down the ticket, and it would probably be as close to a vegetable as he's eaten in his lifetime.
Oh my God! Certainly, JD Vance and the bag of carrots would be, if they were locked in a battle of wits. I'm putting my money on the carrots. At least the carrots know what it is, right? JD Vance doesn't know what he is yet. A carrot is committed to being a carrot. JD Vance is not committed to his beliefs.
Anyways, we've wasted 6 minutes of people's lives.
Yes! We're going to get totally slammed in the comments. Just get to the reading.
All right, so what are we reading on here?
We're reading on, is Trump going to dump Vance?
Will Trump dump Vance?
And we did do some research, and yes, he can still dump him. There's an Article 9, I think, in the Republican rules that allow for the replacement of the VP candidate, but they got to get their act together and get moving on it if they're going to do
it. It's one, because as the article pointed out, it's from the Hill. People start voting in September, and it's basically the end of July right now. So you've run out of time.
If you want your party on the ticket, or on the ballots, you have to submit all your paperwork and all that, and get your act together if you want to dump them. Okay. So for entertainment purposes only, will Trump dump Vance?
All right, I'm gonna start the reading off. What is Trump thinking of the Vance situation, and then we'll go over to you, and you can see.
Okay, then we can go for the
Trump's going to make the dump. All right, I have to put something in the title that the reading starts. It's the 7-minute mark here. The impatient folks out there.
Nonsense. They need
what's Trump thinking of
like all these nice people have.
Okay, what is Trump thinking of JD Vance? 7 of Swords. Oh shit! In my relationship cards, this would be the card of adultery or swinging or not being faithful to one's partner.
Are you suggesting that they're having an adulterous relationship?
I'm just saying that Trump probably would almost entertain a bag of carrots being closer to him than JD Vance. Let's see. Crossed with the victory card. And the agreement underneath it. Well, Trump and JD Vance may have an open relationship. How about that? Right now, what Trump is concerned about, he's concerned about winning. And when I threw on JD Vance in the original reading, I got an 8 of Swords and a 9 of Swords. Like, this was not his pick. This was who was forced on him, because he's quote unquote like the rising star of the Heritage Foundation. And I think he was coerced into doing this. But let's see. There is some infidelity in their relationship, shall we say. Now, what's this going to be? What are they stealing stuff? What's going on? In the past, we've got the 6 of Cups. I think I've gotten this card as well. I think this is Trump looking at JD Vance as he's just some yokel who doesn't know squat. And JD Vance looks at Trump in the same way. And I believe you and I have recorded this one, because it's like they're like white trash that looks at the other person and recognizes them as white trash, but they think they're much more highfalutin than that. Like, somehow they graduated from white trash to non-white trash, and that didn't happen with either of these people.
And we'd like to apologize to anyone who considers themselves white trash. We don't mean to offend you by lowering the standard to include.
Yeah, exactly.
I know it's hard, and I'm sorry.
It's not a kind term. It's not a kind term, and I'm not meaning it as necessarily as a derogatory term. I was just always been amused that people describe the Trumps as white trash with money.
Yeah,
because they have a very low class, low sophistication outlook on life, and what their idea of what a wealthy person looks like doesn't actually mirror what typical wealthy people are, because they just have a distorted view of it.
Yeah, it's that whole old money versus new money type of thing.
It's kind of like, the Beverly Hillbillies, for instance. it would be cruel to call them white trash because they were just more rural Appalachian type folk that came into a lot of money, and they're trying to adjust to a highfalutin society.
I think the characters are actually from the Ozarks, but I did a quick peek on that. It's actually from the Ozarks, but yeah. So it's just, they're doing things the way they do them. Yeah.
Anyways,
back to the cards.
Back to the cards. Current situation is the Eight of Wands, the messaging. The thing that's going to make or break Trump's relationship with him is polling, messaging, and TV presence, because Trump is always looking at optics. And how does JD Vance do on optics? But Trump is always concerned about poll numbers. He talks about them all the time. Yeah, my poll numbers are better than Biden's. My crowd size is bigger than anybody else's. There's a few things he obsesses over. And crowd size, polling, optics, those are things that he obsesses over. It's funny. Trump would have been probably in some niche a very good TV executive for understanding optics and what people are looking for in shots and things like that. But that's not where life took him. Overarching energy is the Ace of Swords. If Trump is going to grab a new VP, he better do it quick. And he might have an idea, but there's a strong idea of something that's going on here, or a new idea that's formulating with this Ace of Swords. Let me back this up a little bit here. Somebody, he got an idea in his head, and it's in a lonely place.
Looking for a friend.
And the lesson to be learned is the Fool card. Trump might think that he was foolish for taking on JD Vance, that he was naive for taking on this young person on here. Alternatively, if this is the high energy, Trump thinks that this is the guy who can get it done. He's going to go with him on it. Outcome is the Queen of Pentacles. In the end of the day, what's really going to drive Trump it's going to be poll numbers. It's either going to be one of two things. Either Trump's going to want to dump him because the poll numbers are lousy, or the Heritage Foundation is going to have to start dumping a lot of money in his lap to keep him faithful to JD Vance. So people have been complaining. It's like, oh, you're hemming and hawing. You're not actually, but
don't put the cards away because I want to take a shot at
it. People are hemming and people say, oh, dude, you're hemming and hawing. You said both things. Like, well, it's not definitive to me. This is not a definitive answer one way or another. He's at a crossroads trying to decide what he's going to do. And to me, it really comes down to what's, in some ways, JD Vance has fallen in his lap, and what's he gonna do about it? Okay, so you want to take a look at this.
Yeah, so because what I was looking at it was that the foundation card is the Seven of Swords.
Right.
And the first thing that kind of I was thinking was the characters basically sneaking away from the camp, right?
Yeah.
And so to me, it's kind of the camp is kind of the GOP, and the folks sneaking away are the Heritage Foundation.
Okay.
And so you've got the heritage that's crossed with the victory card, because the Heritage Foundation they want the JD Vance person there because he's the one that's going to carry their agenda to victory.
Correct.
Underneath it, they've got the couple, the Two of Cups. So the Heritage Foundation and Trump are making agreements. The Heritage Foundation and Vance are making agreements. There's all these agreements being made that this is the ticket that's going to get us to the finish line. In the past, you've got the Six of Cups. The looking. It's like, we're getting all.
President gets to pick his VP.
Yeah, we're real nostalgic about, we've got this great 1-2 punch. This would be like, Reagan, Bush. We're going to get all of our hopes and dreams and everything met on this. And then you've got the wands, the communications, making sure that Trump and everyone knows that this is what's going to happen, and this is going to be our candidate. I think your reading on that was very accurate, where Trump's worried about the polls.
Yeah.
And then the overarching energy being the Ace of Swords. I think at the end of the day, the Heritage Foundation is like, no, this is what we're doing.
Yeah, I think you're right on that one. It's basically the Heritage Foundation has taken over the GOP. The GOP doesn't run the GOP anymore.
Right, exactly. And then you got the Fool card because Trump is the useful fool.
And it's a new start because now the Heritage Foundation is the GOP. So this is their new era.
Yeah, and Vance is an even more useful fool because he'll do whatever they tell him to do.
Exactly.
And then the outcome is the Queen of Pentacles. And my Queen of Pentacles is going to be a little different than yours, in as much as the outcome, I think, is you've got a feminine energy and things of value. And what I see is that women voters that normally would have maybe voted GOP, now that had their reproductive rights taken away and all these other rights potentially taken away, they're going to be the outcome of this. And their outcome is going to be, you are not representing our best interests anymore, and we are going to go with the candidate and the party platform that best represents our interests. So I suspect that Queen of Pentacles is the woman voter that's going to turn this election on its ear.
Basically, at this point, what the GOP now stands for. Project 2025 is out there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's not the grand old party anymore.
All right, so now your question was going to be, is Trump going to dump the chump?
Will Trump dump Vance? Okay. For entertainment purposes only, in case we didn't say that.
Yeah. What do we know? We're just a couple of idiots.
We're just a couple of morons that just happen to own a couple of decks of tarot cards.
Exactly.
Okay, well Trump
act like we know what we're talking about.
Yeah. Trump dump Vance. Okay, we're going to start with the World card. Foundation. We are the world. So the Foundation is the World card. This is Trump's world right now. Being president is everything to him right now because of all those court cases and all the grifting and all the things that he's done in the past and would like to do in the future. His freedom is totally depending on this election. And he's got a VP that is polling lower than anyone prior to 1980. Crossed with the Magician. So we've got two major arcana. So it's about manifestations and creating things. So is Trump looking to get rid of Vance? His world is at stake here, and Trump is the guy that can make things happen. Underneath it all, oh, there you go. There's a card you're gonna like. The good old death card, the king is dead, long live the king. I guess I could read this one of two ways. Trump is looking at JD Vance thinking, this guy is going to be the death of my campaign. My opportunity to become president, he's killing it. Or you can say that basically, I want to kill this relationship that I've got with JD Vance and get a new beginning here. And I will not put these cards away because I'm sure you're already.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's a couple of different ways to look at it because the other question is it even answering the question you're asking? So we'll find out more as you spread on there. The other thing that I'm seeing with this, just sort of keeping in mind, is with the World card is when things bring to a conclusion a cycle, which could be the presidential cycle or his patience with JD Vance, and then the manifestation as well. If he wants to be rid of Vance, he's got to pick somebody new really quick here.
Indeed.
Something's going to come to an end.
Okay. And you'll have your shot at this in a couple minutes here.
Sure.
So in the past, there's a great card, the Ten of Wands. That
shows a relationship working smoothly.
A lot of burden. That it's a couple things. It's the burdens that Trump is facing. All his court cases and all the money that's going away because he keeps losing these court cases, as well as this relationship he's got with Vance. He wasn't a big fan of Vance prior to the nomination.
Said bad things about him. He said mean things.
Mean things. How could he about our favorite president? Yeah. Current situation, the Five of Swords. Should I stay or should I go? Should I keep going with this, or should I be walking away from this battle? You know, Trump, he likes to fight. This could be just Trump trying to pick his battle. You know, do I continue battling the Democrats, or do I take a battle with with JD Vance and get rid of him and move on? The overarching energy is the Chariot. You know, time is moving on. It's like Dave was mentioning, he's got to make a decision. He's got to make a decision quickly because he's running out of time. And this whole juggernaut is moving forward. It is not going to go backwards. The lesson to be learned is the 6 of Wands, the victory card. You know what? If I want to win, because this is the world to me and I can make this happen and I've got this burden, I'm going to need to make a decision about what I'm going to do with him because time's running out and I want to be victorious. The outcome and the payoff card here. Dun, 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 dun. Six of Pentacles. That's interesting. So the 6 of Pentacles is kind of about balance and paying back, you know, giving back, which is kind of interesting because that's not necessarily Trump's strength, right? So the outcome is he to get rid of Vance? If he does, Trump's got to look at his money situation. He's got to look at what value JD Vance is bringing. You know, if I get rid of him, how is this going to affect me going forward? And how is this going to affect my campaign going forward? It's not quite as definitive as I was hoping because it's kind of a very neutral card. I suspect that he's going to keep him.
Yeah.
Because I'm not seeing anything one way or the other. I think he's got to really balance the sway that the Heritage Foundation seems to have over the Republican Party and over MAGA, because MAGA is his world. Yeah. And he's going to be, even though he's not loyal or faithful to anyone, he will be as loyal and faithful to MAGA because MAGA is always there for him. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. I'm going to let you read at this now, Dave.
Yeah, I think not much I would change on that one. Really, it's just I think Trump's at the end. He's at the end of his cycle. You got the death card, which is the end of the current cycle. That was him picking the VP, and the world card, which is the end of the presidential cycle. And he really does have to pull a rabbit out of the hat. It's going to be a difficult campaign with all his criminal cases, but they've all been delayed. He's been given that gift. And now really it is a winner takes all type mentality in his current situation. If he wins, he's home free. If he loses, he's screwed. Yep. And that overarching energy with the Chariot, it's going forward. I think he's made his decision. He's going to go forward with it because he might want to change, but the logistics of it are just too difficult. And if he changes, the likelihood of him losing the election, this is probably going to have to be explained to him, he's more likely to lose the election by changing it and saying that, oh, I made a mistake, I'm going with somebody different, than he is just riding that horse all the way to the end. In the end of the day, it doesn't matter who his VP pick is. MAGA is going to vote for Trump because he's Trump. JD Vance his VP pick was never going to bring in new people to vote for Trump. Trump's too polarizing for that. And between that 6 of Wands and the 6 of Coins underneath, the Heritage Foundation is just basically, you know, their PACs, you know, the PACs and the super PACs are dumping money into the campaign, and that's all that Trump cares about is money coming in.
Yeah, you know, I was as you were talking, I was thinking this might actually be the Heritage Foundation.
Yeah,
because the Heritage Foundation has already given them the Supreme Court, and they're throwing
that's
money.
Federalist. You're thinking Federalist Society.
Oh, I'm sorry, Federalist Society. I'm sorry, I stand corrected. But you know, he's got his Supreme Court. He's, you know, they're giving little pebbles to Trump and whatnot. But you know, the things of value for Trump is making the presidency, and these are the groups that are supporting him that will get him in his mind to the presidency.
I'm sure they give him they give Pump poll numbers that show Trump is doing really well.
Yeah, those might be those little pebbles there.
They're telling him everything he wants to hear.
Yeah,
and
that's how Trump works too. You just tell MAGA what they want to hear, and they'll believe it, right?
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. I mean, think about it. It doesn't matter who his VP pick is. It just really doesn't. All the MAGA folks are going to vote for Trump. He's been shot at. He's our president who's been the libs tried to murder, or the deep state tried to murder. We're going to show up and vote. It's just the way it is. It doesn't matter who his VP pick is.
Yeah, don't let the truth get in the way of a good story.
The Heritage Foundation wants Vance in there because they know Trump is going to be worthless at advancing their agenda, but they know JD Vance will absolutely do it. That's why they want him in there.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. All right. Do you want to do anything more on this one?
Well, I don't know. What else should we do?
So what have we learned? We learned that Trump is probably going to keep Vance.
Yeah. I think we can end it here.
Right.
Let's end it here.
And hey, can I give just a little update?
No.
So, okay. So those of you that actually look at our community page, I was I left a little post about this cat that I come across in the morning that I've nicknamed Archie, who appears to be homeless and was quite actually, frankly, starving. She's been coming around the house. She came by the last couple of days. She was by this morning and had breakfast and second breakfast. So she's doing good. I'm going to have to get her some flea meds, and we'll see if that can get rid of some of her skin conditions because she's itching like crazy. But she's being fed and she's being cared for. So fingers crossed that her life has turned. It's going to get a little bit better, a little bit easier. It's such a sweet little kitty.
All right. Anything else?
That's it.
All right. Cool. Thank you, everyone, for watching this video and supporting our channels. We appreciate it.
Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. I go through all the comments and I try and reply to as many as I can. It's interesting. We had our Trump video, the Trump health video, really did well.
Yeah, we could do one a week.
That had like over 50,000 views. I felt like Linda G finally, And I could tell it was getting to a wider audience because all of a sudden these Trump trolls started showing up in the comments section.
Trump 2024.
Yeah. Demons are afraid of Trump. It's just like, really? I don't think demons are afraid of much of anything, actually. And yeah, so it was just interesting, as annoying as some of these comments are, it's also like, wow, when we do a big video like that, it definitely gets to people that haven't seen us before.
Yeah.
So
it's fascinating to see the mindset too, isn't it?
Oh God.
Your people.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure they won't like a lot of our videos.
No.
Anyways, thank you so much for watching these things. We appreciate it. The more you watch, the more you share, the more you subscribe, the wider the audience we get, and we can get the message out to more people.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Have a great day. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.